Hey class, this is the problem about the ihau shells, the earrings here. So I think this article is a pretty cool article to read, so you should read that first before you start the problem. But in the reading, the information that we get out of that is 1 day of picking will give you less than half a dozen prize shells to use to string the earring. Okay, so in this sentence, we can see that 1 day will give us less than half a dozen. Well, a dozen is 12, half a dozen is 6, so less than half a dozen. Let's say 5 is less than half a dozen. Or if you would like to use the upper bound, let's just say 6, because 6 is half a dozen, right? So let's use the upper bound of 6. 6 what? Shell that you can use, okay? And then while stringing, well, 1 day you can only use 6 of the shells that are really good to put in the earring. Now, while stringing, 1 out of 3 will break. 1 out of 3 will break. Well, if 1 out of 3 break, then that means 2 are good ones. Right? So the conversion that we will see out of this is 2 good shells is in 3 shells that are picked, right? Okay, so I say picked here. Okay, just to be clear. Okay, and then the question said, how long is it going to take you to make this beautiful shell from the beginning, from picking to stringing this earring? Well, I need to know how many shells there are, right? So when I go and count it, I see 50. 50 what? Good shells that made into this earring. And then there's another 50 good shells that made into this earring. So together, there are 100 good shells. So that would be my starting point. 100 good shells that made into the earrings. And then I need to go ahead and and the question said how many days. So I would have to end in blank days, right? So here we would say 2 good shells is in 3 picked shells, right? So then good, cancel with good, and then 6 shells picked in 1 day. So then pick shells, and then we end up with days. So as far as the math go, we would say 100 on the numerator times 3 times 1, but you really didn't need to write the 1. On the denominator, you have 2 times 6. And so how many days will that take? Let's throw that into your calculator. I mean, you can actually do that in your head, right? 3 times 100 is 300. 300 divided by 12 is going to be 25 days. It is going to take you 25 days to pick enough shells to make this beautiful earring here. Okay, now consider your time and your effort. How much would you charge for these? Well, if it takes you 25 days to actually come up with that set of earrings, what's your time worth? How much are you going to charge for it?